This one's for all you Christians, you Paulinas, you Paula Abduls out there. Paul is obviously and well known to be a controversial figure. His writings, his teachings, his interpretations, his origins. So, with that being said, let's see what Miss Anna Kingsford has to say out of the book Clothed with the Sun about Paul and his teachings and his standing with the rest of the apostles and Yahushua himself. All right, let's jump right into this. They told me, with evident indignation, that the Christian church of today entirely misunderstands the relationship really existing between the apostles, whom Christ had instructed and elected as his missionaries, and the converted Hebrew sacerdotalists. It is amazing, they said, that your church can read in the writings extant concerning our relations with Paul the account of the mistrust, suspicion, and disfavor with which we always regarded him, and not see that he was never one with us. The very leader and chief of our circle, catch this, withstood him to the face again and again as though he had been an enemy of the church, and on one occasion he was forced to fly from the brethren by night and by stratagem. So great and so bitter was the indignation his view of the faith aroused amongst us who had been the Lord's friends and who knew the truth as Paul never saw it. For he imported into that pure and simple rule of life a mass of Levitical and rabbinical usages and beliefs which we had shaken from us as the dust from our feet. He sunk the realities of the gospel of Yahushua under an overwhelming weight of hard sayings and sacerdotal misinterpretations. Wow, does that not sound like Christianity today? He, who had never known the Master as he was, took upon himself to distort his image into that of a strange God whom we have never known, or who we had not known, nor could we recognize in his garbled version of the beautiful and willing martyrdom of the man whom we had so dearly loved a single trait of his character or the least resemblance of to the doctrine he had taught us. Wow. Paul erected the strange and elaborate system which is called the doctrine of the atonement. For us and our master there had been no scheme. Our Elohim was reconciled to man by love and not by sacrifice. But Paul would have a new religion and a creed hard to understand. And he left to the world a Christianity of his own, which we know not, but which is yours today. And in this, he did us greater evil and detriment than if he had persecuted and slain us all physically. I thought he did. I thought that was the story of Paul. I thought he was once Saul and he once killed Christians and he got converted on the road to Damascus. Huh? Interesting. For by his false conversion he deceived the world and drowned the truth by a flood of strange doctrines. That's your Christian church today. That's your black Christian church today. That's your Christianity today. Celebrating Christmas, eating pork, doing everything the scriptures tells you not to do, disregarding Israel, doing everything the scriptures tell you not to do. For this, we were all against him and never acknowledged his apostleship, being persuaded that he knew not Christ nor the faith which Christ taught. Hold on. I was going to skip this last part, but what the heck? This is crazy. This is crazy right here. Let's get this. Had he been content with the truth, we would never have set our faces against him. Interesting. That means at one point they liked him. That means at one point he was doing something good. That means at one point he was accepted. And this is going to get to the theory that I just thought of right after this. Oh my goodness. We would have never set our faces against him. It's talking about Paul, according to them, Saul, for he had many gifts. Apparently, Paul was very talented, among which his eloquence was not the least. But through his fatal perversion of the faith, and through his fatal love of the metaphysical doctrines and of rabbinical subtleties, he falsified that which was the glory of the church, the true church, and brought into the world the monstrous doctrines of the Christianity which is preached in your churches today. Let's get this right here. I was further told that on the night before Paul's escape in the basket, let down from the wall of Damascus, a violent altercation had taken place between him and the brethren, in the course of which Paul had maintained that the only chance for the final triumph of the gospel, or his gospel, lay in its erection into a system, and one that must be of necessity be sacrificial. One that must be sacrificial. They then challenged him upon the point, but he insisted that he saw further into the matter than they did, and that his special mission lay in the elaboration of the plan he had conceived with regard to Christ's position as a mediator between God and man. By the way, get this at the bottom. Their personages I beheld in my vision bore no resemblance to any of the numerous representation of the apostles made by painters. Wow. Did they tell us the story of Paul or Saul in reverse? They tell us now that he's a good guy and we can trust him. Was it that he was once a good guy and he became a bad guy? They're trying to tell us the opposite. He was a bad guy, became a good guy, and we can trust whatever he says now. From the story here that we're listening to, it sounds like after the multiple physical altercations he got into and the ass whoopings he got from the apostles, it sounds like he may have started killing the Christians after he got rejected from the club, after he got kicked out, after he got rejected. Behold, Nephi saw the whole earth in the formation of a great and abominable church that was established by Satan. And the angel spake unto him, saying, Look. And I looked and beheld many nations and kingdoms. And the angel said unto me, What beholdest thou? And I said, Behold, many nations and kingdoms. And he said unto me, These are the nations and kingdoms of the Gentiles. And it came to pass that I saw among the nations of the Gentiles a formation of a great church. And the angel said unto me, Behold, the formation of a great church, which is the most abominable above all other churches, which slayeth the saints of God, yea, and tortureth them, and bindeth them down, and yoketh them down with a yoke of iron. Who does that sound like? And bringeth them down into captivity. And it came to pass that I beheld this great and abominable church, and I saw the devil, that he was the founder of it. And I also saw gold and silver and silks and scarlets and fine twined linen and all manner of precious clothing. And I saw many harlots. The Pharisees had choked the mystic teachings of the Jews with bonds of ceremonialism, and the Sadducees had made it a doctrine of materialism and worldly conduct because of their subtle, poisonous influences. He compared them to the children of vipers. That there is a secret doctrine of Christianity is not generally known to the majority who claim the name of Christian, but it has always been known to the mystics in and out of the church, and its fame has been kept steadily lit by a few devoted souls who were chosen for this sacred task. The secret doctrine of Christianity did not originate with Jesus, for he himself was an initiate of the mysteries, or the priesthood of Melchizedek. These Christians don't know this. These Christians are fools. So the divine knowledge became the property of unauthorized persons who used it for their own selfish ends. It became black magic in their hands as opposed to white magic or spiritual wisdom to be used for the helping and guiding of others. He was the great avatar of that age, bringing to the people of understanding and wrath the mystery teachings withheld from this by the selfish, powerful priesthood. For 2,000 years, esoteric societies have pretended to be the New Jerusalem. It is because Christianity has forgotten much of its original teachings, because it is now satisfied with only part and a very small part of what it originally knew. So essentially, it's carrying on the attitude, the spirit of Paul, their true savior. A lot of people will mock and call modern day Christians Paulites and say that Paul is the true savior of the Christian church. It says here, a state of mental stagnation and spiritual degradation came upon Europe under the Christian era.